In April 2014, two young women traveled to Panama hoping for adventure, language lessons, volunteer work, and memories they would carry for the rest of their lives. Instead, their trip became one of the most haunting travel mysteries of the last decade. Their names were Kris Kremers and Lisanne Froon. Kris was 21. Lisanne was 22. They were both from the Netherlands, and they had arrived in Panama with plans to study Spanish and volunteer. With children near Boquete, a mountain town known for its cool weather, coffee farms, and beautiful jungle trails, Boquete was popular with tourists and backpackers. It was the kind of place travelers went for nature, waterfalls, hiking, and quiet adventure. But on April 1st, 2014, Kris and Lisanne decided to take a hike that would become their last known journey. They set out on the El Pianista Trail. The trail begins as a scenic hike through green hills and cloud forest. It is known for its lush views, narrow paths, and peaceful surroundings. For many visitors, it feels like a perfect daytime adventure. Kris and Lisanne brought a backpack, their phones, and a digital camera. At first, nothing seemed unusual. The photos recovered later from their cameras showed the two women smiling and posing along the trail. They looked relaxed, happy, like two friends enjoying a beautiful day in Panama. But at some point, they continued beyond the area where many hikers turn around. And then, something changed. That afternoon, emergency call attempts began appearing on their phones. The phones tried to call emergency services. But because of the remote jungle location and poor signal, the calls did not successfully connect in a meaningful way. From that moment on, the timeline becomes disturbing. Kris and Lisanne did not return to their host family that evening. At first, people may have hoped they were delayed. Maybe they had gotten turned around. Maybe they would come back the next morning. But they didn't. Their host family became concerned. Their families in the Netherlands were contacted. Search efforts began. Rescue teams, locals, dogs, and helicopters searched the area around Boquete. But the jungle was dense, steep, and difficult. The terrain was full of rivers, ravines, slippery rocks, and thick vegetation. Days passed with no sign of the women. But their phones told part of the story. Over the days after they vanished, their phones were powered on and off multiple times. Emergency calls were attempted again and again, but there was little to no signal. At some point, one phone could no longer be unlocked with the correct PIN. That detail has become one of the most debated parts of the case. Some people believe it suggests one of the women may no longer have been able to use her phone. Others believe panic, injury, confusion, or simple mistakes could explain it. But the phones were only the beginning. More than 2 months after Kris and Lisanne disappeared, a local woman found a backpack near a river. Inside were items belonging to the women: their phones, sunglasses, money, a water bottle, and a digital camera. The backpack was a major discovery. But what investigators found on the camera made the case even more unsettling. The early photos showed Kris and Lisanne on the trail during the day. But then there was a gap. And after that gap came a series of strange nighttime photos. Dozens of pictures had been taken in complete darkness, deep in the jungle. The images showed rocks, branches, leaves, and what appeared to be personal items arranged or visible in the dark. One photo appeared to show the back of someone's head. The purpose of the photos has never been proven. Some believe the flash may have been used as a signal to attract rescuers. Others think the photos may have been taken in panic, confusion, or as a way to see in the dark. But because the women were not there to explain them, the images became some of the most haunting clues in the case. Eventually, partial remains were found in the area, along with clothing believed to belong to the women. Authorities concluded that Kris Kremers and Lisanne Froon had died, but the exact circumstances have never been fully answered. The most accepted explanation is that they got lost or injured after going too far beyond the main trail, then died from exposure, injury, dehydration, or the dangers of the jungle. But not everyone believes that explains everything. Some people question the condition of the backpack. Some question the scattered remains. Others focus on the phone activity, the missing time, and the strange night photos. Over the years, theories have spread online. Foul play, an accident, a fall, an animal encounter, or a combination of tragic events. But there is no confirmed evidence that proves exactly what happened. And that is what makes this case so chilling. Kris and Lisanne were not doing anything extreme. They were not trying to disappear. They were two friends on a daytime hike, carrying a camera, phones, and plans for the rest of their trip. But somewhere in the Panamanian jungle, a normal travel day turned into a nightmare. The jungle kept most of its secrets. All that came back were their belongings, fragments of evidence, and a camera full of photos no one can fully explain. So the next time you hear about the El Pianista Trail, remember Kris Kremers and Lisanne Froon, two friends who walked into the forest looking for adventure and became one of the most haunting mysteries in travel history.